Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 20-Minute Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Kimball, the Scene Snob. I shouldn't say as always. I'm really thinking I might get some new blood in here soon, whether it be a second mic or a guest host. You never know. I'm gonna look into that. I think this would be a fun podcast to get other people's other wrestling fanatics in here to talk. So, it's just an idea I'm kicking around. But how is everybody doing today? It's been a sort of a big week in wrestling, news-wise anyway. I'm just going to start right off by saying, best show of the week in my opinion is AEW Dynamite. This was by far the best show. And let me tell you, I was watching this, I couldn't catch it on Wednesday, so I recorded it and I watched it Saturday night. Man, it felt really nostalgic and good to watch the show on Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday night I watched it? It was this weekend. My day's going by too quick. But it was just a really good time to watch it. And they are handling this perfectly. I mean, you've got some great stories going on right now. I'm excited for the Jon Moxley-Darby Allin match next week, which was set up this week perfectly. Jericho got his first loss, which was amazing, and in true perfect heel fashion, threw a fit and tore things up. I love it. I loved every second of it. I love the MJF coming out. Now he's in the inner circle. Cody comes out after him. I mean, right now MJF in AEW might be the second best heel behind Jericho. He's great on the mic. He's got a great demeanor to him. Good character right now, and he fits. I'm so glad he did his heel turn now. Like I was thinking maybe it was a little too soon at Full Gear. Not much to kind of set it up. I dug it, but I was thinking maybe it was a little too soon. And no, payoff's perfect. He came out to Cody's music. Then he's in the ring, cutting great promos with Jericho. Just going back and forth, and it was wonderful to listen to them. Just old school and new school going at it. And then by the end, he joins the inner circle. He is in the inner circle, and Wardlow showed up, and they attacked Cody Rhodes after he came out. So it was a really cool segment. I suggest anybody who missed it definitely go back and check it out. It's like a quick schooling on how to drop promos, and I really think every show, every superstar in the WWE right now should watch it. Not saying they're not capable of cutting good promos, but just show them and have an argument against doing scripts as much as they do. Because let me tell you, there is no emotional connection for me on any of the WWE shows right now. And it breaks my heart because I love WWE. Grew up on WWE. I was cheering for him in the 90s during the Monday Night Wars. And now it's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Especially after that mascot dog segment on SmackDown this week. What was that? I mean, you don't even really get Roman in. And right now he's over. So, but you got terrible Corbin, who you're trying to put over constantly each week and does not deserve it at all. And now he's cutting a terrible promo to open the show. This is your show that Fox is putting in tons and tons and tons and tons of money for you to put out. This is this is no joke. I mean, this is Disney backing Fox now. You can't screw around. Come on. Something's got to happen here. And this show is just right back to bad. It was good when every one of its stars were stuck in Saudi Arabia, except for Daniel Bryan and a few others. And you had to make do by playing the invasion storyline. And then a week later it's cooled off. And a week later they can't even carry it. The invasion doesn't matter. The storylines are just boring. And of course, I knew this was going to happen. I should have said it on the show. I would have played it back right now at this point. They turn the Universal Belt blue. And what does that say to me? The same thing I've been thinking for years. The Universal Belt is a bunch of BS. It is a meaningless belt that you're trying to pass off like it means something. You know, and the funny thing is, I thought the WWE Championship title was ugly and black. And then they made it red for Universal. And that was ugly. Now, come on. Fox buys that title and all of a sudden it's blue now and it's hideous. It is a disgusting belt introduced by Bray Wyatt. I mean, if the storyline is you're gonna put your own spin on it and make it happy-go-lucky blue, I mean, come on. Like, the Fiend is the Universal Champion and he makes it like happy blue. Now I get you could also play it up like, oh no, it's Bray Wyatt, it's his alter ego. This belt is stupid. This color is stupid. It's pointless. It's just for a brand split. Then just call it the like the women championship belts. Call it the WWE Raw Championship belt. Call it the SmackDown WWE Championship belt. It would make more sense than the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. It's because when they gave that Universal Championship, and I mean gave it to Brock Lesnar all those times, for all of those days, for years, it was just to appease him. You say Universal Championship, you introduce it, it means something. Oh, now it's prestigious and it's a belt that just means so much, like the WWE Championship. That's the one that should mean something. Personally, I still think you should have the NWA belt, the World Heavyweight Championship, that was real prestige and has been around forever. And because Vince McMahon bought him out, and I'm not saying I'm not happy about that. I don't want to go back that far, and I shouldn't be so snide about that. But you had the belt, and that belt carries with it so much prestige, and it's gone. It's gone. We don't see it anymore. It's disturbing. I just, the brand split, I get it has to happen now, especially with Fox, but I never liked the brand split anyway. And I hate the Universal title. I hate the fact that the WWE Championship, which to me does have some prestige, it really does. It doesn't have as long as the NWA Heavyweight Championship, but it has some prestige. I mean, come on, the Immortal Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, you had Stone Cold, The Rock, you've had so many wear that belt that it made it mean something. Flair, everybody, it means something, but it feels like it means nothing now, nothing at all. And just because Brock wanted to stay on Raw, that's why it means something to him now, and that's what they're going to play up. I know I'm kind of having a tantrum about this belt, but I wish it would mean something. Like, it felt like, take it seriously. And I can't really compare it to AEW because we're talking about years and years and years of championship prestige in that belt, in the WWE belt. And then we're talking about AEW, who just introduced it this year. It's a brand new company that was introduced this year as well. But they handled it perfectly. I think they gave it to the right person. You had to give it to Jericho. You had to give it to somebody with weight behind his name that means something. So when you look back and you're like, who is the first ever AEW championship? Whether it be 80 years from now, you're like, Chris Jericho, one of the best of all time. That makes sense. Is he in his prime? No, absolutely not. He's an older man, but he carries with him, you believe he wins because of who he is. And he's holding it for a while, he's holding it for some months, and the next person should mean something. The next person should be the most over heavyweight in the company. That's my opinion when it comes to AEW. And right now, nobody knows who that is. Maybe it would have been Cody, but Cody, I gotta give it to him. Now, I'm not saying he'll never go for it. I'm not saying he never should. But as of right now, watching him and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they're not going for the gold. They are not. They're there to build the stories. They run the company. They're doing their job. They're doing exactly the opposite of what everybody thought they were going to do or said they were going to do, especially WWE fans, saying like, oh, they're just going to make themselves champions. Nope, they're doing the opposite of that. They have no interest in it. Well, I shouldn't say no interest. Of course they have interest in it, but they are putting the guys over. SCU, I think, is the perfect choice. And man, they cut a promo this week before their match between Sammy Guevara and Jericho. Their promo, like they're heels, but their promo was so over babyface over, I should say, but still heelish. It was beautiful. You don't see really too many wrestlers being able to pull that off nowadays, and they pulled it off beautifully. Like the old school guys, they can pull it off. They know what they're doing. Well, like young guys, like I blame WWE. Like with the scripted promos, like a lot of these guys just don't get it. And I don't want to trash them. I don't want to trash WWE. I want them to do well. I don't want AEW to go away, but I would love a good competition where they're both doing well. And one company is not. I'm sorry, Vince needs to move over and maybe have a committee come out and change things up and realize, they don't have to get dark, they don't have to do all the crazy things, and they can still stay PG if they want, or however they want to do it. Maybe go to PG-13 at least, please. But, just go back to the days of wrestling. Paul's not doing it, I'm sorry. I was hoping for Paul Heyman to do great stuff. And unfortunately, he's just not doing it. The Lana Rusev thing is stupid. It is the dumbest segment this year, if in the last 5 years. It is just ridiculous and it's embarrassing. It's sad to make a husband and wife do that. And a lot of people I've been reading too are saying that, they don't have to do it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but they need the time. Like, this is their careers. What do they do? Supposed to sit at home? Like, of course they're going to take the TV time. They're going to take that time to go out and do what they have to do and be recognized, because they got to make money too. And whether that's working outside the ring or they're doing conventions or whatever else, they need to stay relevant. And they need to just do this. And poor Rusev, Rusev Day was like the number one thing, the number one seller, the beginning of the year? Maybe just the end of last year? And it just got killed, and now look where he's at. What happened? What happened that whoever's writing this, Vince or Paul or whoever else, is just, now, let's take him now. Let's just take him out by the knees. Let's see him get kicked in the balls every other week. It's just sad, and I hate it. And just let it go. Please, just let it go. And speaking of let it go, I'm going to go on another little tangent. We got a lot of guys in WWE who want their releases, and I don't blame them. They're underutilized. The most recent I see is the guy in NXT, Lorcan. And yeah, I read up on him, and I heard Dave Meltzer's report on it. Dude's 34 years old. Was it Uni Lorcan or something like that? I hope I'm pronouncing his first name right. If not, forgive me. But, dude's 34 years old. Right now, he's in probably his prime. But how long is he on his contract for? And he's never getting used. What's the point? What are you doing? You're purposely burying these guys under their contracts, and they just want to be released. They want to go and they want to make a name for themselves in the industry. Look at Sin Cara. Sin Cara asked for his release right after Raw this week. He was done. It was like a tiny push, but to the point where he was still losing. And what's the point? Just to build up Andrade? But why are you going to keep putting Sin Cara down? Dude's a veteran. He's been around a long time. I don't know. It feels vindictive to me. And that's sad. It's sad that these guys have, this is their dream, this is their livelihood it seems like they're getting played with. And then when they just want out to go make a name for themselves somewhere else, or at least have a chance to. I'm not saying AEW needs to sign everybody who quits the WWE. I don't think they should. I don't think they should at all. I think, occasionally if people want to come in, that's fine. I think even if today we had a wave of the big stars, the big superstars, get out of their contract, I don't think everyone should be signed by AEW. Mix it up. Cherry pick, take who you want, AEW. Who will work within the realm, because you don't want the oversaturation that WWE's doing where you build up all of these superstars to the point you have to bury them under their contracts because you can't have that many matches. How many tag team matches of teams that aren't actual tag teams are you going to have because you have all of these stars that people are paying to come and see? For the longest time, like you had like the top guy in the company, and then a few other stars, mostly mid-level guys, but it was all under some good storylines. Now it just seems like everybody's a superstar. Everybody needs to be out there. Everybody needs to be seen. It's too much. Like even with AEW, who's who. You know who the mid-level guys are. You know who the stars are. Nobody's overshadowed. Sometimes you won't see them week to week. Or if they come out, it's just for a segment. Like Kenny Omega didn't wrestle this week after Full Gear. He's all banged up, in the storyline, of course. But Moxley did. But Moxley is a guy building himself up. Kenny Omega runs the company and doesn't, why keep putting yourself out there? But have your promos like he did, showing himself banged up. Anyway, I digress. With the comparisons. Going back, but let Sin Cara go. Maybe he'll go to Lucha Underground. Maybe he'll go to Impact. Maybe he'll go to NWA Power. Maybe he will go to AEW. Who knows? But he'll be a star wherever he goes. And that's a name for another wrestling promotion, and that should be the name of the game. It will help. This Lorcan from NXT just wants out, because he wants to fight in his prime somewhere else. Let him go. Let him go do his thing. Again, maybe it won't be AEW, but he'll go somewhere. He'll make a name for himself, and that should be allowed. Luke Harper, same thing. Now the Jordan Miles thing, listen, I'm not saying he's right, wrong, or whatever. Everything I've read, it seems like he kind of knew what was going on with the shirts, but at the same time, I also get the immense pressure you must be under, especially when you're in NXT, and that's considered, I don't want to call them minor leagues because they are not. But for the longest time, they were considered like the training grounds. I think here's where you start to get to the main roster. Not so much anymore with them being their own brand, but even if you did approve the shirts or you looked at the shirts and you were just kind of like, I don't know what was said exactly. It's still a lot of pressure for a guy who's up and coming to kind of fight back and be like, yeah, I don't know about this shirt. Maybe at the moment when he saw it. Maybe when he saw it go up, somebody pointed it out to him and was like, you see the racial issues with this shirt? And that's when he was like, oh my God, yes. Like that. I'm sure that could happen too. I don't know. The way he quit, man, that's kind of killing yourself right there. If you never want to wrestle again, maybe, but it's gonna be hard for another company to pick you up. When you quit a company like that, and that's any job you have. If you quit a place like that, especially that publicly, no other company wants to pick that up. They don't want to pick up that burden, that chance that you might do it to them, and then it's a bad rap on their name. There's ways to handle it. So I don't know that he's going anywhere. I don't even know what the status of his thing is, of his release, if he got released, or I'm sure he's not coming to work and they'll figure that out, but who knows what's what right now. But sadly, my biggest thing with these guys who are asking for releases and they're not getting them, come on. In the Revival, they've been wanting to go for a long time. They've been hinting at it for a long time. Yeah, you gave them somewhat of a push, but it seems like you'll push them, they'll become champions, and then they're getting smacked down all over the place. Make up your minds. Like, are they good enough for you to keep doing this or what? Or just let them go. Just let them go. You know, stop holding people hostage. Stop holding by their contracts. Like, I get in certain areas of business, yes. But, I mean, that's just, like, in this situation, it feels like crappy business. Like, if you know you're not going to use them, if you know you're going to bury them, let them go. Just seriously. Why hold on to him like that? Why embarrass like Rusev? Say Rusev wants to leave. Why keep embarrassing him each week like this? Just let him go. Let him make a name for himself somewhere else. You know, let him do something else. Sorry if it's competition for you, but you know, stop treating people like they're products. You know, like granted, I understand in some situations they are, but it's ridiculous. I see I'm already at the 20-minute mark, and I don't want to dwell on that anymore, but I cannot go without talking about probably what seems to be the biggest news at the beginning of the week. But you don't hear much about it now. It's a lot more of it's speculation, and I think the reason for that is, well, let's just start. So CM Punk is back working in some capacity with WWE. He's not working for WWE. Make that clear. He is working with WWE Backstage, which is run by Fox. So that is the show, like the highlights recap show. They're trying to make it very much like a was it NFL Sunday kickoff show sort of thing, but it kind of just, I don't know why it's on a Tuesday if it's highlighting stuff, but anyway, CM Punk came back. He came back at the end of the show. His music kicked on. The only one who seemed to really know it was Renee. He comes in, talks to the mic, says he's changing the culture, and he'll be back next week. But he's coming back, from what I understand, in a recurring role. So I guess that means he's not going to be back full time. And well, I shouldn't say back. He's not back, but he's not going to be on a show full time. He's going to be in a recurring role when he wants to come on and like kind of guest. That's weird to me. I don't know what happened. There was a lot of speculation about this for a while. It was cool to see him come back to, again, not come back, but it was cool to see him come on the show at the end of the show and say he'll be back next week. I'm going to watch next week. So it worked for this week. You know, their first official episode of WWE Backstage only had 49,000 viewers, which is abysmal. And I guess this one was over 100,000 or something like that. I don't have the official numbers in front of me. I was looking at it earlier. And I guarantee this next week we're going to have some higher numbers. Probably respectable numbers for an FS1 show. On especially a WWE-based FS1 show. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think the allure is going to be there. I think people wanted him back as a wrestler. They're not going to care much about the commentating, because if you're getting 49,000 views, if you did 5 like cold shows, like going in to warm people up to your first official premiere, and your premiere was the lowest rated out of all of the shows you had done by that point, at 49,000, and then you're going to bump because CM Punk is coming back, and you're probably going to get a bump then. I give him 3 shows, and then when he doesn't come back for a show, like, nobody's going to watch, and you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, this deal with Fox is going to be around for a long time, but I can't see the show keep going if it's not doing well. But regardless of that, he is back. Like I said, I'll be one of the ones checking it out. But you know, I'd like to see him come back as a wrestler. You know, I'd like to see him come back here. But who knows with Vince and Triple H and that whole debacle, and what capacity he would ever come back if he wants to be a wrestler or not. Who knows what his ambitions are? So I guess we'll see. I mean, I know he was doing commentating for a while when it came to mixed martial arts, so maybe he wants to come back as a commentator, but he's trying this out first, you know, prove something to WWE. I don't know. I'm speculating. This is all speculation here. This is not rumor. This is not news. This is just something I'm wondering myself. And with that being said, just to finish up on the CM Punk, he's kind of, that news already has kind of fizzled out. So that way, you hear it kind of talked about now, but it really has been fizzled out. You don't hear much about it. So we'll see what happens after this next episode. We'll see how many episodes he does in a row. I'm anxious for it. But with that being said, that is the 25 at this point, but 20-minute wrestling podcast. And I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about CM Punk? What did you think about the shows this week? I barely touched down on that abysmal mascot dog that hung out with King Corbin this week. But that was ridiculous too. But leave comments, send messages, do whatever. I want to hear what you guys think about what's going on in the world of wrestling. Change my mind if you think I'm wrong about something. I always like, not a good argument, but I always like a good counterpoint, and maybe I'll learn something new. But regardless of everything, I appreciate you listening. Remember to check this out. You can check this out and all my other shows out on scenesnobs.com. You can follow us for news, updates, and other stuff. At the Scene Snob on Instagram and Twitter, and the Scene Snobs on Facebook. And also subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. I got movie reviews on there and other stuff too. So definitely check us out. So that's the Scene Snobs channel. Well, I appreciate you listening, and thanks very much. I will talk to you guys next week.